Pretty Little Liars, the TV show, sometimes deals with disturbing and problematic topics. We provided a list of content warnings in the episode description.
Welcome to Dead Ends. I'm Emily.
I'm Brenton.
And we have 2 new episodes of Pretty Little Liars to talk about for you as we get closer and closer and closer to the season finale.
And guess who's back?
Who's back?
Melissa. She's been spending all this time in Philadelphia, doing God knows what, but now she's back. We got some details and some suspicious happenings.
Yeah, we got some sus activities coming in all directions from many different people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And Mona gets brought into the fold, and we all cheer.
Yeah, you like Mona as part of the girl group?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, so she's good friends with Hannah, and we do know that, but it doesn't seem like Mona really has other friends.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah. So it's nice to see Mona has friends. And she's like been this answer piece anyway, because she's like really good friends with Hannah. And everybody else is just kind of like, and I also like people having to deal with Mona and be like, okay, being the person in the friend group that everybody else is just like, well, I guess we'll tolerate her.
Yeah.
But we love her.
You love Mona?
Mona's great.
Camp Mona?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever since Camp Mona?
Ever since Camp Mona. When did I turn on Mona? I don't know when exactly, but
you've always loved Mona from the beginning.
I think I must have.
You did accuse her of being A.
Yes, she's dropped down the list ever since another M has come back into Rosewood. But
what are the odds that A is an M name?
We got 2 so far. Yeah, 2 on the list at the moment. So out of my list, say 2 out of 5.
Who are the other 3?
Oh God! No, wait. Sorry, 3 out of 5, because that'd also be Maya.
That's what I was like. Wait.
We were like, "What are you doing? How could you forget this person?" So if it's Maya, Mona,
Maya, Mona,
Melissa, that's 3 right there, and then other 2. I mean, Fitz is always on the list. Who's my 5th? I kind of just winged it. That number out there, so that could be a solid 4.
You had Allie.
Oh yes, and Allison potentially being alive. Your starting 5 for the Brenton Theory Corners.
Oh God.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
But do we want to do a schedule update?
Yeah, before we jump in.
Yeah. So the new spinoff has started, and I saw that it was on, saw something on Twitter about, I don't know if they were joking about a full frontal scene, and decided I need to not learn anything else, until like we get there. And then it's like, oh crap, we need to make a schedule for like how we're going to cover all the spin-offs, because there's other ones too. So I've drafted up this kind of schedule here, that we'll be kind of following, with dates and the episodes we're covering. So most importantly, season 3, we will be breaking it up a bit. So in the middle of season 3, they stop after the summer, as they did with season 2. And during that time, they filled it in with a web series called Pretty Dirty Secrets. We'll just do 1 episode on that, because they're all like 3 minutes, from the looks of it. And then there's the Halloween special that comes back. So that's in October.
It's my favorite. It's probably like my favorite episode of Pretty Little Liars.
I'm really excited for it.
It's like, and it's the one I remember. Like I could tell you the entire plot of that episode, which I could not tell you the entire plot of the episodes we just watched.
Right. I'm excited about that then. I like the last one. So like, there's a high bar since that last one was my favorite episode. And then we get the Caleb spinoff Ravenswood, that happens during the time before. It's only 1 season and was canceled after 10 episodes. So we'll do that in between season 3 coming back, which was at the beginning of the next year. And then we'll continue going and cover all the other seasons in chronological order and sometime in 2024.
That's assuming Original Sin only has 1 season.
Yes. Oh, yes. So I'm glad you also brought that up. Original Sin is an HBO Max original. And for people who may not know, this is after the week that this got announced. So HBO Max and Warner Brothers and Discovery merged back in April. And so Discovery is now leading everything. And with that, it's gotten a lot of details that it looks like they're trying to just like collapse everything onto one platform, onto Discovery, and like axing a bunch of original content that is like scripted content, because Discovery is all about like non-scripted, reality television, docuseries. And so there haven't been cancellations yet, but it's looking like all the original HBO Max stuff, which Original Sin is going to get completely axed.
That's so weird to me because HBO Max is like the only like good streaming platform.
Totally. It's an amazing streaming platform. So it really sucks. I mean, these are the type of people, like the slides were going around where it's just like talking about the two platforms in terms of gender. It's like boys watch HBO Max, girls watch HBO Max. And this is on a slide to investors. Like, and it's like, we're going to save so much money in tax write-offs by canceling all these things. We want good quality content, not a bunch of, not quantity. So.
And HBO is like the only thing that provided quality.
Right. But since they're new people that are just trying to like running the business, like making money, it's easier for them to not operate at a loss and look good. Or not, I don't even know if they're operating at a loss, but at least like show that they're making money. And they have no ties to anything, so it's just like, yeah, we don't care.
Boo capitalism.
Yeah, it really sucks. So if there's another season of this, then we'll get over the 100 episode mark.
And maybe they'll bring it back on a different platform with a different thing,
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I saw the showrunner for Our Flag Means Death, I think, is talking about that if it does get canceled. So, well, murky waters, it really sucks.
Yeah, what about the Righteous Gemstones?
Yeah. I think that's on HBO proper, so that might be safe, but we don't know.
Good to know.
Nothing's we know is really safe at the moment. Everybody's kind of like,
No one's ever truly safe. That's what we've learned through Pretty Little Liars.
That's right. Well.
And don't trust the police.
Do not trust the police. Now, more than ever. Are we ready to get into the episode summary?
I'm very excited for you to summarize these episodes because I already have forgotten them. Don't worry, I have my questions. But...
You're in luck. I'm very excited about these episodes.
Okay.
Episode 43, Season 2, Episode 21, Breaking the Code. At school, Emily's shocked that they're just going to hand over $2,000 to Jonah and ask Spencer, like, how'd you get the money? And Spencer's like, I have a relative. And they promised I wouldn't say anything about it, so don't ask who they are.
Which isn't a lie.
No, not at all. It is a relative. And I am not going to tell you who they are. Spencer and Arya are going to go alone. And Emily's like, you shouldn't know. Like, if we've learned anything, like splitting off is not a good idea. We should not do this. Mona then walks up and everybody clams up. And then she's like, hey, hi. Hannah, can I talk to you? So they go away and talk, and Mona's like, oh, yeah, can you drive to the mall after school today? And Hannah's like, oh, my God, it was today. I completely forgot. And Mona gets angry. Hannah's like, my mom wants me home. And like, can we just go tomorrow? And Mona's like, just forget it. The friends then call to Hannah, and we're like, we're going to go to lunch. And Mona's like, don't let me hold you up with your friends. Mona then gets a text and kind of like looks down at it and then like kind of like shocked. Hannah asks who that was, and Mona's like, oh, it's nobody. It was a wrong number. Hannah then walks up, and we see the text that Mona got, which was from A that says, Hannah's mommy saved her ass. Who's going to save yours? Ashley is at the house unloading groceries as Wilden appears at her back door. She asks what the hell he wants, and he's like, well, you weren't returning my calls. And she's like, don't you know like about like knocking at the front door? Hannah then walks over, is just like, wait, why the hell is he here? And he's like, well, I have a few more questions regarding you and your friends. Ashley then says, if you're not like pressing charges, we have nothing to talk about. Wilden's like, well, I thought it'd be nicer to talk here, but if you prefer down at the station, that's fine. And then walks off and leaves. Ashley then clarifies with Hannah. It's like, hey, Hannah, you told me everything, right? Hannah's like, yes. And Ashley's like, well, then good. We have nothing to worry about.
We always have something to worry about on Pretty Little Liars. You know what
Yep.
this show did? It really like helped me understand that I have like severe anxiety and for good reason.
Yeah, totally.
Imagine if the world was out to get you all the time. Okay, enjoy. It is.
It is.
What if I told you that fear was warranted?
It may not be an A, but there is something.
Someone's out.
Spencer is talking to Melissa about Jason. Melissa's pissed. She's like, can't believe mom lied to us. And Spencer's like, oh, tries to defend her about like her not telling them. Melissa's like, it's like we don't know who mom and dad are anymore. Spencer tells her that she thinks like Allison knew. Melissa asks if anybody else knows, and Spencer says, I don't think so. Melissa's like, let's keep it that way. Melissa then leaves and is like, I just don't want to be like home when the parents get home. But as she leaves, she reassures Spencer that they'll get through this. Emily calls Maya and gets a voicemail. She asks why she isn't calling her back and if silence is her way of breaking up. Emily sits at her desk in class as Paige reappears. I was like,
Guess who's back?
like, really? Comes over to talk. Paige invites Emily out to a team event, trying to get donations. Emily says, oh, okay. Well, okay, I'll go help out.
Sounds fun.
Mona and Hannah hang out as Mona is like modeling like off like outfits that she got. And Hannah is just like out of it and disinterested. Mona then gets another text and looks upset. Hannah's like, hey, what's going on? And Mona's like, well, you know that same like freak that like sent me the text about your liposuction? Well, they're texting me again. Hannah asks like when it started happening, and Mona's like a couple days ago. Hannah asks what they say. Mona's like, well, at first just like dumb stuff, like accusing me of stealing this necklace. Hannah's like, well, did? And Mona's like, well, duh, yes, but it's none of their business. Hannah says,
That's our girl Mona.
I love it.
Sure.
Uh-huh. Well, I did, but like, what does it matter? Hannah says she should return it, and Mona says, then, if I did that, then you'd have to return half the things in that closet. Hannah asks if there's texts about me, and Mona says, no, just your mom, and shows her a text of Wilden and Ashley together. Mona's like, Mona says, they want me to believe your mom slept with that creep to like get you off. And it's like, oh yeah, that's definitely Photoshop. And asks Mona what will happen if A starts threatening her. Mona's like, if I could live through like Allie's torture, I could handle radioactive texting. Arya and Spencer are hanging out on a bench waiting for Jonah. He approaches and asks for the money. Spencer's like, we need the info first. And he's like, no way, I already got burned once. Fair. Spencer hands it over, and he asks if they've heard from Vivian, and they're like,
No, have you?
yeah, exactly. And he's like, well, you don't owe me, answers she does. He then gives them a sticky note and walks away. It only has an address on it. And Spencer's like, what the hell? There's like no name. So then runs up and tries to stop him. And like wants her money back and starts yelling at him. And he's like, well, they texted off a burner phone. I couldn't trace the name. And so Jonah finally leaves, and they look up the address, and they see that it's about 20 minutes from where they are. They then look around and see that Garrett is sitting like way far away in his car just watching them.
Creep.
Spencer tells Arya, like, no way we're going to go to the address right now. Fair. It's very funny, like, to just built in, like, Garrett, like, putting here. It's like, okay, well, the address is going to happen at the end of the episode for the reveals. Hannah receives a text from Arya about a change of plans, and it's like, I'll explain later. Hannah then goes into the kitchen. It says it's really weird that, like, Wilden stopped by and reminded her of all the bad times. Ashley's like, I thought we agreed not to talk about that again. Hannah says, I always wondered what would happen if people found out. Ashley asks if he called her or talked to her at all again. And Hannah says no. Hannah asks what would happen if it got out. Like, could you lose your job? Ashley says, I could lose you. If your father sued for custody, he would get it. I guess that's true if it's like an officer of the law. That he's breaking the law with quid pro quo, but wouldn't that be more of like an abuse of power thing?
Yeah, but I think the fact that she did it then could make her appear as a negligent parent, and it makes a good plot line.
Yes.
I don't think it's very accurate.
Fair enough. Yeah. It's a plot line, at least.
Let me tell you. I mean, a good in air quotes.
Yeah, I know.
The legalese in this show is not necessarily
1-to-1.
Yeah, or like logical.
Right.
Then again, is our legal system
LAW.
logical?
Oh
there you go.
I really stepped on a good moment there. Emily is saying something like, yeah, like, is the law really on your side? Be like, puns.
It's okay. It made me think of when I've written pet policies and I spell the policy PAW.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like it.
Thank you. We like a good pun.
Mm-hmm. We like to have fun around here.
We like puns and we don't trust the police.
That's right. I mean, what?
Put it on a shirt.
Speaking of people that love to have fun, Arya's talking to Fitz, and they make plans.
You mean Felon?
Yes. And they make plans for hanging out. Ella walks into Arya's room, and Arya's like, "Oh, haha!" Like pretends to talk on the phone, and then abruptly hangs up. Ella says, "I know things have been tense between you and your dad, but there are reasons for that. You know, he got a note on his car," and shows Arya the A note that Byron had gotten, telling her where Fitz and her were gonna go have their dinner at the vegan bistro. Where Byron had a sad dinner alone, and we were very happy.
His dinner with Andre.
Yes. Or I guess for Byron it would be like, I'm changed by my dinner with shame. Ella asks if Arya knows who did this, and Arya says no. Ella says there was a time that we would share everything going on, and who was in your life. Would like Fitz happen to know who would do this? Arya says no. Ella says, you know, the letter I got last year was also signed from A. I assume Meredith wrote it, but now, you know, your dad and I will look into this. Emily and Paige get back from the donation soliciting, and Paige gets a call from her mom, and she reassures her mom that Emily is just a friend. Emily is inquisitive about this, and Paige is like, oh, well, you know, I actually came out to my parents. Emily thinks this is great. Paige says, I have you to thank for it. You came out so well that, like, I had you to model after. Emily kind of blushes and says, thank you. Paige says, I wish I had done it sooner. Emily then gets a text from Hannah that says, SOS. Hey, we got a new person texting SOS. And tells Paige she has to go. Paige asks if it was Maya, and Emily says no. Not to always bring it back to Arrested Development, but it's just the bit where George Michael's into his teacher and he looks at her hand and he's like, no ring. The friends all gather as Hannah tells them about Ashley and Wilden. And Emily tells her, it's like, we would never judge your mom like for doing this. My mom would have driven me to the station and offered to take the mugshot. Spencer wonders why A is texting Mona about this. But Spencer always down to brass tacks. And Arya says they're using friends to hurt us. Hannah tells them she didn't say anything about A to Mona. And like, I just wish I could have told her more. Spencer's like, it's best she doesn't know. Hannah then goes downstairs to like get a snack or something. And Spencer says, hey, can you like check for Garrett? He like followed me home. Once Hannah leaves, Arya then blurts out that the A has been sending letters to her parents. Spencer asks, like, why that would happen? Like, why would he send a letter about this? Like, if you weren't still seeing Fitz? And Arya's like, well, I am. Sorry. Spencer is mad because they had, like, heartbroken conversations about Toby and Fitz. And then Arya apologizes. Hannah calls them downstairs. Caleb had sent her an email with a new video. It's a continuation of the video where they're all in Allie's bedroom. And it starts as Garrett and Ian are fighting over the camera. Jenna, we didn't hear Jenna saying again, she's coming upstairs. The door opens, but it's not Allison, it's Melissa. And Melissa is yelling, where is she?
Where is she?
Where is she?
Where is she indeed?
Who is she and where is
we
she?
know who she is, it's Allison.
Yeah. Could be anybody.
I guess so, but it would be odd to barge into Allison's room and
like,
go, where is she, and not be Allison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely Allison. The friends, minus Spencer, Then say they all need to get this to the cops, and Spencer's like, no, we don't know why, like, Melissa was in there. What could who knows what this was? And the other three friends are really not buying it, and Spencer's like, oh, please, give me one night to talk to Melissa, like, if she tells me, like, the truth, like, just to see about that. And Arya said, like, sure, you get tonight. Hannah, as they all leave, Hannah then, like, looks at her, like, pretty much, like, talk to her now. Pretty much doing like this. And the three friends leave. Emily also, like, was like, she's just gonna lie to you again. The three friends leave, and then Spencer goes to call Melissa. We see that Spencer is now at a bar, and sits and orders a coffee. Mona is at Hannah's, and Mona's like, you lied to me. She then drops down a printed copy of Hannah's police report with a note on it, from A that says, yesterday's trash, tomorrow's news. Mona says it was in her mailbox when she got home, and Hannah's like, I'm sorry I lied to you, but this isn't something you advertise. Mona says, I have to give information to the press about this, or else I'll get one of those myself. I love your mom, but I can't go to jail. Spencer sits alone still at the bar, sees a text from Emily asking if she's talked yet. Spencer then grabs a shot off a tray that was just kind of like sitting there and takes it. Oh, and who should happen to be getting a beer at the beer hall tonight but Ren?
The beer hall?
Yes. As he would say, the pub.
We didn't go to beer halls together, honey.
The beer hall with shots. And he comes up behind her and is like, wow, what a coincidence. Spencer asks, oh, are you drinking alone? And Ren says, well, hopefully not anymore. Spencer's like, well, I can't ask you to sit down. Melissa's coming soon. You know your ex?
My sister.
My sister, the ex. We see Melissa walk up to the bar. Like, you can see kind of like through like the window pane on the door. So Spencer like walks up and is going to go in to greet her. But before Melissa reaches the door, she hears a car honk as Garrett pulls up. Melissa then walks over and gets in his car and leaves. Spencer says, like, what? She hardly knows the guy. And Ren comes up and is like, well, better than you think so. Like, I saw him with her at a doctor's appointment last week. Spencer then gets a text from Melissa saying, sorry, my class ran late. Like, can we do a rain check? We then come back to Mona and Hannah, and Mona asks...
That's a bold move to do inside of the place that you're ditching.
Right. You don't think she's there? Yeah, Melissa don't care. This is the regular day for Melissa.
Oh, okay. Carry on.
Mm-hmm. Mona asks if this is all a sick joke. Hannah says the threat is real and tells her, like, hey, I have and the rest of my friends have been getting texts from A. Mona's like, why didn't you tell me? Like, do you know who they are and like what they like did? Hannah says, if I told you everything, like, we'd be here till graduation. Mona says, like, what do we do now? And Hannah says, we'll have to figure something out. Mona says, you better hurry, and shows a text from A that says you have until 10 a.m. tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Spencer tries calling Melissa, but she isn't answering. Spencer then grabs another drink from something on the bar and takes it down. And
this bar just leaves shots
everywhere,
just on a tray.
Uh-huh.
Just like, oh, yeah, we got shots out.
And they just let her sit there.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like, hey, you can't be here.
Well, some bars like let anyone in. It's just that you can't drink. They ID you at the counter.
I guess so. If it's like a small town too, it's Rosewood.
The bar we used to go to did that. The Cash Bar. They had coffees and stuff.
Oh.
They didn't ID you until you went to the counter.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
There's no one at the door.
Yeah, that's true. Ashley comes home and finds, as she's like sorting things on the counter, and she then finds Hannah's police report on the kitchen island. The friends, minus Spencer, arrive at the address on the sticky note to find like an abandoned house that's been like gated. Obviously, it looks like condemned. And it's like fenced in, but it's unlocked, so they go to enter it. There's an old sign hanging on the outside for a law office. More on that later. The front door is locked, but they continue to look around. Arya then grabs mail out of the mail slot, and an old man on the other side is like, "Rah!" And Arya freaks out. Alarms go off around the perimeter of the house, of the deck. They all then run off, and they see the old man like open up the front door and kind of like look at him. Emily says that's definitely not A. Spencer is now at Ren's house, and she's very drunk, telling him that he did a good job not marrying Melissa. And they both start comparing family trauma. She's like, you don't have any. He's just like, you don't know me. And it's like how they're both messed up. Spencer leans in, and they start kissing. Arya is cleaning her wound from the porch, and Hannah reads an envelope that was addressed for her FWL law firm and asks if Arya's heard of it. She says no. Hannah then Googles it and is like, oh, this only like closed down 3 months ago. Hannah then looks at the employee names, but it doesn't come up with anything. Arya's like, you know what? We got scammed. And Hannah's mad that she like can't do anything to fix the problem with Mona saying like revealing information about her mom. Spencer and Ren, back to them kissing, and then Ren stops her and is like, you're drunk. Like, we need to not do this. And Spencer's like, I thought you liked me. And he's just like, yes, but not like this. Emily is getting food and sees a girl with a jean jacket. She's like picking up food from the usual like cafe. Grill. The grill. Thank you.
Luke's.
I don't know why I always forget it.
It looks nothing like it.
Yeah, nothing like it at all. Sees a girl with a jean jacket, so then runs up and is like, Maya, but the girl turns around and it isn't. Emily is then like rushes out embarrassed and runs into Paige. Paige is like, hey, are you okay? And Emily's like, yes. But Paige looks at her and is like, no, you're not. Emily's like, I haven't talked to Maya since the fight. It's awful. Paige is like, don't you see this is who she is? When it gets tough, she bails. You deserve someone you can count on. Paige then leans in to kiss, and Emily's like, what the hell are you doing? Paige then says, I'm sorry, and Emily leaves. The friends, minus Spencer again, see Mona at school and go to her locker. And Hannah is like, hey, sorry, like, couldn't figure things out, and, like, I forgive you for, like, whatever you had to do. Mona then says she went to the jewelry store and turned in the necklace. And they called the police on her. But her mom was able to work out a deal that she'll just be doing community service. Although Mona is like, God, I have to do community service. Mm-hmm. Hannah's like, I'm so sorry. And I can't believe you'd do that for me. Mona says, what was I going to do? Hurt my best friend and her mom? And they hug.
Cute.
Very cute. Spencer is still asleep at Ren's as he comes in and scrubs. Ren kind of wakes her up and he's like, hey, like, how's it going? And Spencer's like, oh, you going off to work? And he's like, I just finished my rounds. And she's like, oh my God, I'm late for school. and apologizes for last night. Ren's like, you weren't imposing. You're welcome anytime. And they kiss. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, the doctor's home. Better send off the high school girlfriend. Mona sits down at lunch.
Oh, that classic tale.
Uh-huh. Mona sits down at lunch and grabs her apple and finds that there's a note attached to it that says, that is from A, that says, you didn't bite the first time, but you will. A really has command of the school kitchen. Hannah comes up and asks, hey, are things okay? She then hands Hannah the note, and Mona says she's going to take the rest of the day off. I just need to get out of here. Hannah instead invites her to come over and eat with the rest of us. I was like, I don't know, like if you're friends. And Hannah's like, come on. And they like go over and the friends are like, hi, Mona. And they have a nice lunch.
Spencer's not there though. That's an important note.
That is true. Otherwise, like Spencer would be like when Mona was at her party, like, what?
No, remember she was really nice to Mona when Noel Kahn broke up with her. And
That's true.
Mona offered her a cashmere sweater.
Mm-hmm.
And Spencer said no because she's rich. But I would have said yes because it sounds nice.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's next episode that we get the Spencer like looking at her like, what? Ashley enters Wilden's office and says, I don't know how you sleep at night. Did you really think you could get my daughter to confess to a crime she didn't commit? Wilden's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Ashley shows him the police report and he's like, goes and closes the door and he's like, where did you get this? And Ashley says, I found it in Hannah's things. This is when he closes the door and he says, why would I give this to Hannah? If this got out, like I would lose my job. And Ashley's like, well, if you didn't send it, who did?
Ashley, turn it in, babe.
Totally.
Take one for the
That's
team.
Leverage. I don't think he's going to let that back though. Emily leaves a voicemail for Maya again saying, I'm not angry. I'm just confused and I miss you and I love you. Fitz and Aria are in her car discussing how like Fitz had to go all the way down to New Orleans for his interview. He's like, well, I got offered the job, but I haven't given them an answer yet. And Aria's like, yet? It says, your dad is on to us. And, this job is an incredible opportunity. If I don't take it, he'll know what's keeping me here. Aria says, well, figure out a way to, like, keep it hidden. Like, we'll do that together. It says, I used to think that, but I'm not so sure. Aria's like, are you giving up on us? Fitz is like, well, we've been trying to make this work. Aria says, like, and, like, what? Like, really? And, like, yells at him. Fitz says, I think we're deluding ourselves to make this work. Aria then cries and Fitz goes back to his car and does like this drive up. So where like their driver's side windows are like looking at one another and she's like crying and then he leaves.
My favorite thing about Lucy Hale, at least as Aria, I don't know about her other works, is that she ugly cries for her characters. Like, not like she's a beautiful person, but like she does a legit cry. Like you're this girl was hurt. He hurted her.
Mm-hmm. It was a very convincing, just like devastated cry.
Mm-hmm. I feel that in my heart of hearts.
Oh, yeah. Very much so. It's really sad.
It was very sad.
We then see that Aria is now crying in her bed. Ella walks in like, hey, what's wrong? And Aria yells at her to go away. Ella says, I'm not going anywhere until you tell me why you're upset. Aria's like, well, Fitz is leaving. Like, are you and Dad happy now? And I was like, I don't know what you mean. Aria says, don't act like you don't know about the job Dad set him up for. Like, you may have gotten rid of Fitz, but you lost me too. And like storms out. We then see that Aria is now at Fitz's apartment. And Aria asks, like, when he's leaving. And he says, like, I'm not leaving right away. Surprising for this series. There's a knock at the door. And Fitz answers to Ella. And is, of course, majorly surprised. Aria asks if she followed her here with handcuffs to yank her home by her, or she's going to yank her home by her hair. Ella's like, I'm not here to bring you home. I'm here to listen. Ella's going to go in, sit her white ass down and listen. Spencer is watching the video from that Caleb had found and hears a noise in the house. Melissa then surprises her from behind, and Spencer like shuts the laptop really quick and is like, where have you been? I've been calling you for like the past 12 hours. Melissa says, it's a long story. Spencer's like, I know you lied to me. Melissa says, I'll explain everything, but not here. I can't say things in front of Mom and Dad. Remember the funeral, and I wanted to tell you something that I needed to talk about. It's like, well, I want to talk about it now. Spencer hesitates to follow her, and Melissa's like, are you coming or not? Spencer then says yes, but we see that she left her phone on the counter. Aria, Fitz, and Ella are having an awkward evening. Aria asks what we're all doing here. Ella says, I don't condone this relationship, but I'm afraid what will happen if I keep taking the same stance as my husband. Ella says, before people move and run away, I want to understand what this is. Fitz is then called away by a boiling kettle, and Aria sadly smiles at her mom. Hannah is in her room as Ashley comes in, and Hannah asks where she's been, and Ashley says, sorry, I'm late, I got tied up. She sees the envelope, the envelope addressed from the house that they had, the rest of the friends had gone to, and asks, hey, Hannah, where'd you get that envelope from? Hannah's like, it came in the mail by mistake, and Ashley's like, well, that's odd, it's the address to the law firm I used for the divorce. Hannah asks, why'd you pick a firm so far away? And Ashley's like, well, it was on recommendations from the Hastings. That's where Melissa was an intern there during that summer. The doorbell rings as Emily answers it to the police, saying they need to talk to her about Maya. We then see a gloved hand load a pistol. It's the pistol from Peter Hastings' desk, and they shoot it into a target, and it hits the center of the target every time. The end.
I love it.
Hey, he's a crack shot.
That and Ella sitting her white ass down. You're just really on one. What is that from?
Oh, that's it's floated around on Twitter. It was the people that were saying that they're here to listen to black people now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then it's a wider meme of, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I was like, I feel like I should know that and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's jump into this. First of all, Mona's part of the party now.
Yay!
Why the
you have a new party member?
Why is A targeting Mona?
I think it is exactly what I think Art says it, right? Where it's like A's using our friends now to get like leverage on us. I think that's exactly why. And it's like, ooh, maybe Mona will fold because it's like we got two friends that are similar. But A didn't factor in that Mona is very loyal and doesn't give a shit about anybody else.
Mm-hmm. She only cares about Hannah.
She cares about herself and she cares about Hannah. So yeah, I love that turn. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, but I like that Mona's just like, no, I'll just turn myself in. Like, I got myself into this, like, you know, that's good, right? There's a good model there for compared to everybody else.
Uh-huh.
Everybody else is a little bit more complicated. If Ashley hadn't stepped in to like protect Hannah's thing, who knows how that would have actually shaken out. Ashley kind of interfered on that one, but it's nice to see Mona just being like, yeah, I went to like the jewelry store and I like
turned it in
because I didn't want to hurt you. Yeah, we love it. We love Mona being part of the crew. I think she's a great addition to like bounce off of.
Why does Wilden?
What? Taking a page from your book, Audacity. But there's a lot of audacity. He's like, I'm the law. What are they gonna do? He got a promotion for his troubles. He's now in charge of the case again. He got like suspended again. You know, this Pretty Little Liars ahead of the curve a little bit on calling out police, being like, oh, we're gonna deal with this internally, which means like you get a slap on the wrist for a few weeks and then we'll bring you back. Like, we're not gonna like punish one of our own. So then he gets to continue doing what he's gonna do as long as he like is meeting whatever criteria they set for him. So he just gets to be an asshole and a creep by showing up at their back door. A lot of people show up at their back door, but like seeing Wilden there is like a whole nother world.
It's just bad.
I do like that Wilden is just like, wait a minute, where'd you get this? Like, I can't have this out. This would be horrible.
This is bad.
If police reports are out in public, like that's really bad for me. And I like seeing that, like, obviously A was able to do that somehow. A got page 5, we assume.
Just real quick, Paige is back, Melissa's back, Ren's back, everybody's back.
Everybody's back. Roll call, except for Toby. Both episodes this week.
But he was in a lot of episodes a couple weeks ago.
I don't care.
You miss him?
I do.
Well, that's not true. We maybe see Toby in the next one.
I know. It's very funny in the next one. It's obviously just like some sort of stunt double because he never takes off the helmet. There's another way to be like, Toby. But yeah, let's run down that list. Ren. Don't like you, dude. You're getting in the interfering with Spoby. And I don't care if you think...
You don't even care about the age gap? You're more upset that he's interfering with Spoby?
Well, that's number 1. Number 2, it's inappropriate.
Think about the children.
You're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. You're right. Think about the children. It's really startling when he's like, I just got back from my rounds. Because they are 20-year-olds. And so, like, there is, even though I know it's just like, oh, this is weird because, like, the character is that he's, like, hooking up with this high schooler. But, like, it didn't click in my brain, too, that this high schooler is going to be late for class because she was out drinking all night with an adult. And it just, like, it hit me in a ton of bricks in that scene. I'm just like, oh, no.
It made it very easy for those of us. I mean, not just this, but like media in general does this a lot. And so like when you're in high school and the older guys talk to you and you think it's because you're so mature, and then you're like, oh my God, no, it's because he's a creep.
Yeah.
I am mature, but also he should probably not talk to me ever.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Not quite understanding that. Like, of course, like nobody blames Spencer in this, but it's like, get that guy out of here. And you know, even if he did the thing of like, well, we're not gonna hook up when you're drunk. Yeah,
it's the bare minimum.
Yeah, so I don't like that. Melissa being back in town, hell yeah, let's go. I've been like sitting here just like, what's Melissa doing? What's Melissa doing? we get all of these little breadcrumbs.
You wake up in the middle of the night, you go, "Where's Melissa?" And I go,
exactly.
"Honey."
But her heart condition.
Is the baby okay?
Exactly. How was she dealing with like all the shit with Ian? Because we don't really. Yeah.
How much time has passed? How pregnant is she?
Right. I mean, she has like a little bit of a baby bump, right?
Yeah, but I don't really know like how much time like has actually passed because the show kind of really breaks the space-time rules.
Yeah, we don't see the transition, but yet they talk about things from season 1 happening last year, which could be totally viable, as in like
the calendar year.
Yeah,
because that's what it's supposed to be.
But it makes it seem even weirder. Of like, wait, but you're saying like last school year? But yeah, I'm just glad she's back, and we got like some juicy like mysteries around her. Who's the third on being back?
Paige.
No. Isn't Samara still around?
Anyone really?
Uh-huh.
Take Mrs. Fields.
Yeah. Paige is also just rough because she's so awkward. So then it's just like she's like, oh, like social cues, I can't read them. So it's just like she leans in and like tries to kiss it, and like that's all awkward.
Her anti-Maya speech.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much just like, see, you need someone who's dependable. Old Paige here now that I'm out of the closet. So it's, and can't say I'm excited. I feel a little bad, but like
she's not my
favorite. It's also just like a mismatch. I don't feel the chemistry there.
I don't ever feel good about Paige.
No. And then also Paige just, you get a lot of just like, oh, well, like, I don't know why you're upset about that. Like with Paige.
Yeah. Why was Melissa there the night of Allie's murder?
There's got to be like some other bad blood, like obviously between Melissa and Allie, that I think probably started before the Ian stuff.
Ooh.
Or maybe it could have started with Ian. I'm wondering also if Melissa happened to know about the Jason thing before then, or at least had a suspicion.
But she kissed him.
Right. I meant that would have been after that, right?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And maybe Allison was like taunting her about that while she was while Melissa was also dating Ian, which is also another sticking point for Allison. So that's a best guess there, but that's my best guess.
Okay. What are Melissa and Garrett doing together?
I know. Nefarious shit. I don't think it's just that he's like, I was Ian's friend and we're in together. I think he's keeping eyes on her, obviously. And like going over whatever is like still out there, because Melissa is obviously connected to this NAT club. So it's something to do with that. You know, like the same way that like Garrett would meet with like Jenna about like nefarious stuff. I think it's pretty similar. But in this case, Garrett is trying to keep a little bit more of an eye on her rather than a true partnership.
What was Melissa trying to tell Spencer? What's the big thing she's been trying to tell her?
Yeah. I think it's that related info. Yeah, that one's got me a little bit. I think it's maybe something to do with Ian and like the info that like the scheme that he was a part of with NAT. That's like in that video that they talked to about. So maybe it's that. Yeah, because it's got to be related to Garrett somehow. But I don't know.
Okay.
These episodes especially, it's just like
they're giving you a lot so that you can come into those last couple episodes and just be stressed, baby.
Yep. Yeah, it's just like we had watched these over 2 nights. We watched the one, and then it was like we had to like go to bed, and it's just like, God damn it.
Want to watch the next one? Okay. The parents in A, Ashley finding an A note, Ella asking about A. What's going down? What's going to happen?
Oh, with them? I think their investigations are going to fuck over the schemes that their children are trying to do to get one over on A. They are going to learn about A, but after A is like completely wrapped and solved and whatever the hell that happens. So, and then it'll be like, I can't believe our daughters were going through this. But I think whatever pressure they're going to try and do is eventually going to backfire on our main protagonists as they're trying to do something.
Okay. Ella's I came to listen moment. What's next for Arya and Ezra?
I know. I was like, oh no. Oh no. I don't. Ella's now just going to be complicit. I think that's literally what it is until Byron eventually finds out and it all blows up on the rest of them.
I don't want Byron to be the good guy.
No, definitely not. But like,
slim pickings.
It's so hard because it's like I said, like him going to the restaurant, like
he was right.
He was right. It's like they were going to go there. And it's like he is trying to like protect his daughter from a older man, like grooming her, but then at the same time he's also, you know, a manipulative asshole.
It also seems like they only care because he's her teacher and not because of the age, which I think is the weird part.
Totally. It's like, I can't believe this happened, because I guess technically if we go in that law, it's 16 in Pennsylvania. It's just wild. I don't it's gross. I don't like the like I've come to listen, because I understand that it's like I can't get my daughter to change her mind. Like I can't, like, by forcing this is obviously not work, because she's just going to be hiding things and all that. But like, rather than like sitting and talking to her daughter about this, it's like, well, maybe I'm missing something. No, you're not missing anything. This is not right. It's
gross.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, where's Maya?
Where is Maya?
Where's Maya?
I know. Doing some shit. She's still around Rosewood.
Okay.
I think she's pulling a shit.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she's doing stuff, concocting stuff. She needs to get out of town. Not get out of town, but she needs to get on, like, go off the grid for a little bit, be able to do some stuff, get stuff organized, go into the lunchroom, put a note on an apple, break into the police station, steal a police report.
Oh yeah, there's very normal activities.
Exactly. Fix the sign again because they took off her spray paint. I think there's a reason more than just my parents caught me with like pot that I need to get out of the house, and I think it has to do with her activities as A.
Okay.
Episode 44, season 2, episode 22, Father Knows Best. Emily gets back late. Hannah asks what the police said, and Emily says Maya's parents found a note and it looks like she packed her bag. Hannah asks if Emily told the police about her text to Maya, and Emily says she told them about getting into a fight with her and her talking about running away. Melissa and Spencer are talking in the car. Spencer asks why she lied to her and why are you hanging out with Garrett? Melissa said Garrett was Ian's friend and he's been super helpful. It's great to have someone to talk to about Ian and who he actually was. I went to Garrett last night and I think it was a mistake. I shared a lot with him. Maybe too much. Spencer asks, like, what? Melissa says, remember the summer that mom and dad were constantly fighting and the day Allison went missing, it suddenly stopped. I don't think it was a coincidence, and dad had a really weird reaction, like to the news. He seemed almost relieved. One night I came home late and dad was up and something was bothering him because something bothered him because I was a wreck. I had caught Allison flirting with Ian again, and I had texted Allison, like, to tell her to back off. Spencer asked, like, oh, did you, like, sign your text? And Melissa said, like, I didn't have to. Peter said nothing, but, like, gave me a look that he supported me. I told this to Garrett, but I feel like telling him that was a mistake. Spencer then tells her about the blackmail and that she thinks, like, it was Allison who was blackmailing their dad. But Peter said, like, but dad said he never paid a cent. And Melissa says, like, and you believe that?
Do you believe it?
I do, actually. I still do believe that Peter paid nothing. Peter, if Peter can get it, I do believe Peter would like, and what we find out later, that he would get a private investigator to like try and like sort this all out. Yeah, I think that's 100% what he would have done. I will spend money in the exact money that like this person's asking for, but not for their reasons. Ella enters Arya's room to tell her that, oh, your dad's coming back from his conference today, and he's excited for the father-daughter dance. Arya's like, I can't do that right now.
The school has so many dances.
Really, a ton of dances. It's so funny. So many events. And Arya's like, I can't do that right now. And Ella, and wants Ella to try and talk him like into like things about like Fitz. Ella says, I can't do that right now. I'm still trying to process like what it is, and I don't think your father needs to know about it for the time being.
Montgomery family secrets.
A new one gets let out, and we need to put one more back in the vault. Ashley picks up the phone, and it's Wilden. She's mad that he's calling her at her home, and he asks where Hannah got the report. Ashley says, my daughter is being targeted, and you need to find out who is doing it. She says, don't call here again, and hangs up. Hell yeah.
That's right.
Hannah comes downstairs and tells her, like, oh, it was that dad. He bailed on the father-daughter dance. And Ashley's like, well, I can take you to the dance. Hannah's like, well, like, I don't know, like me bringing my mom is like advertising, like that it's like I have divorced parents and that, you know, that'd be kind of bad. And Ashley's like, well, I can take the heat. And eventually Hannah's like, okay. Spencer reads a text from A. Does your mom and dad know you're watching murder movies? Bet it would kill them to find out. The friend
kill them, get it?
Oh, you're a double meaning there.
That's me. I've been working with A on copywriting. I learned all of my menacing skills from A. Our marketing is all done by A. That's why it's lackluster.
Would be a shame if you didn't buy anything.
Tell your techno boy toy to download the podcast.
That is a good one.
Thank you.
The friends all got the text and are worried that it's from Melissa. Spencer's like, it can't be. She can't be A. And Hannah refutes this by saying that, like, well, my mom got the lawyer from where she interned at. Spencer says, it can't be her. I saw her fall apart when Ian died. Hannah says, we have video of 3 people in Allison's room the night she died. Can't we get in trouble for, like, withdrawing evidence? Arya's like, I think you mean withholding. And then Spencer's like, and then Arya says, well, Spencer's right. We shouldn't jump the gun by going to the cops. We got in trouble for that last time. Fair enough. Spencer says, give me a chance to find out more from Melissa. I might have a way. Melissa comes home and sees a gift on the counter. Melissa comes downstairs and Spencer's like looks at it and is like, oh, this is a gift from Dad. And it says, looking forward to you wearing this at the dance. She opens it up and it's this beautiful necklace and Spencer is shocked.
Well, it's large.
Yes. It's like very, very big jewelry. Yeah, couldn't think of it.
Big diamond, big shiny.
Very big shiny. Kind of, I guess, I don't know. It's the Hastings. So it's kind of a weird thing, but whatever. Melissa's like, oh, he's overcompensating, and this necklace is his guilt talking, and that he has a lot to cover for. Peter then walks in, and he's like, oh my God, you got the gift. I'm so excited. Do you like it? And Spencer, and Melissa look awkward. Ashley gets into Wilden's car. He requests Hannah's phone so he can see who she's been talking to, and whoever gave her that report is obviously in her world. She's probably talked to her friends about it. If you want answers, you need to give me that phone. Hannah and Mona discuss Caleb being in Montecito. That's why he's not here. Hannah asks if Mona's heard from A, and Mona says no. Mona complains about her community service, and then they walk out and see that Ashley and Wilden are talking in a car together.
In the middle of the town square. You know, where everyone has their private meetings in this town.
That's where Arya and Fitz would go to have their talks. Why not the police?
I hate this town. It's so dumb.
It is. It is very dumb. Ashley comes home and Hannah's like, why were you talking to Wilden? Love this. Ashley explains she's looking for answers, and because she's not getting any of them from Hannah, and like, I saw the police report. Where did it come from, Hannah? And Hannah says, I don't know. Ashley says, someone is trying to hurt you, and so I gave it to Wilden. Hannah says, that's not safe if that got out. Ashley says, it's already out. It was on our kitchen counter. Hannah says, if you already went to Wilden, you don't know that it's safe. You don't know like what's safe, like what that definition would be. Hannah then leaves, and Ashley sees Hannah's phone on the counter and like looks at it as if like it's like the One Ring, like kind of drawing her into it. But then Hannah walks back, grabs it, and leaves.
Ashley has her Gollum moment.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Arya sees Mike shaving, and they discuss like him just starting to shave. Mike, again, readjustment on everybody's ages here. Mike asks if she's going to the dance. He's like, well, I'm going to be going. I'm going to be helping my friend Gavin DJ. He tells her that she should go. Like, it would wouldn't it like look weird if you didn't? Arya asks like if like mom like, he tells her she should go because like if she's going to go do something else, wouldn't that look suspicious? And Arya is like, oh, did mom like tell you something? And he says, no, but like I could see it on your face. Dad will get suspicious if you're not there, that you're seeing your secret boyfriend again. Mike asks about her and Fitz, and it's like, you've always caused problems, and like it seems like things just kind of keep getting in the way, and it keeps getting worse. Like, so I don't get it. Like, why? And if your relationship is so much trouble, why not let it go? Arya says, when you love someone, it's worth fighting for, no matter what the odds. Sure, but not in this situation. Emily and Wayne catch up. He is in town for the father-daughter dance. Our one good father is back. Making dumb decisions, though, in this one. It's like on a different scale of dumb, though, so I can... Yeah,
he doesn't do anything bad.
Right, exactly. Wayne says, your mom is sad to miss this and your swim team trials, but at least Maya was in the stands cheering for you. Emily's like, well, Maya's gone. Wayne asks why, and he's like, I didn't listen when I caught her doing something that could get her in trouble. And instead, I jumped down her throat. And so I haven't talked to her or like talked to her on the phone at all since. Wayne says, it sounds like she doesn't want to be found. When I was your age, I did something similar. I scared your grandparents by just leaving the house and got on a bus. But eventually, like, I came back. And he's like, you know what? Since I'm with you today, let's go investigate. I think she would like to know that someone is out there looking for her. Peter invites...
How's she going to know, Wayne?
If they find her, I don't know. He's just trying to make her daughter feel better. His daughter.
I was like...
Right.
But who's telling her?
Maya with their binoculars from her A perch.
In the bus stop?
Exactly. They even get like a Law and Order moment later. It's just like, yeah, we didn't see no like girls come around here buying bus tickets. Oh god, Google Docs broke and
we're down. We're down, everybody. We're down. Crisis.
Okay.
We're gonna be okay. We're gonna recover.
Stretch.
I was like, physically?
Oh no. Okay, here we go. Peter invites Spencer to go play tennis at the club. Spencer's like, well, I have to study, and kind of brushes him off awkwardly.
You never take me to play tennis at the club.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't really know how.
Yeah, and I don't know what club you're referring to because I have no memberships.
I know what we need to start.
Right. That's what you're saying.
Uh-huh.
At the club. Go get one.
We're going to the club.
But yeah, we should play tennis.
You should teach me to play tennis.
Mm-hmm.
We'll record it, just put it on the internet.
Right. We'll both be watching the same YouTube video of like, well, that's how you do a forehand.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, real quick. Forehand, like when you're like whatever you're holding your tennis racket with, like
is when you go forward.
Yes, and then backhand is when you have your back, like your
so
arm,
when you
like
elbow
bent.
first.
Yeah, exactly.
But you hit the ball with the racket, not your elbow.
Exactly.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I can tennis.
Mm-hmm. And
can you do both of those?
me?
Yeah.
Really bad at backhand. Well, I mean, okay, so this is all like 20 years ago. Like when I was like 14, yeah, I could do a forehand and kind of do a backhand. But now, God knows.
Okay.
I can knock it over the fence for sure.
I'm lucky if I hit the ball.
Well, it's usually just like wait, never mind. Peter says, "Oh, you didn't like the necklace. It's okay." Spencer's like, "Well, that's not true. I did like it." Peter says, "Well, I miss you at the club playing tennis." And then he's like, "Well, I booked us a dinner reservation at like
Your favorite place.
Your favorite place." And Spencer's like, "It's not the grill." Spencer says she's excited to go. Spencer asks like, "How long will you be gone?" And he's like, "Probably a couple hours." And he leaves. Spencer runs downstairs, enters his office, and starts looking through his desk. She finds no evidence in the checkbook or other drawers, but finds a tax folder. Opens it up, and there's the receipts from the check, like where you get like the copy of it for your own records. And it has the receipts in it, and one is made out to cash for $15,000. Spencer then hears a noise, which it turns out to be Melissa after the commercial break. She rounds the corner, and Spencer tries to cover up. He's like, "Oh, he's at the club. I was just looking for a stamp." And Melissa's like, "I think I have a stamp." And Spencer's like, "No, I found it. It's all good." And rushes by. Emily and Wayne arrive at the bus station. Emily tries to get the desk clerk, attention to ask about Maya. And it's like, "Oh, I'm on my lunch, lady." Wayne then puts on his army hat and he's like, "Excuse me, sir." And it's just like, "Oh, wow. When did you serve? I was in the 4th Company platoon," and and they, then the clerk warms up because they're both veterans. The clerk then says Maya bought a ticket for SF for San Francisco, and he saw her, but I don't think she got on it because I saw her talking to a dark color car later that night. I packed up some bags and turned around, but her and the car were gone. Might have.
Jason, his son.
Same disease, week after week. Garrett is what I'm trying to say. I think it's Garrett.
Oh, you think she got in the car with Garrett? Got it. I was
car.
like, what did Garrett do?
It is the question week after week. I just thought somebody should be asking it.
You just said it was Garrett. I'm the one asking the question.
You're like, what the hell are you talking about? Good Lord. Aria gets ready for the dance as Byron comes in and is like, "You look nice." Byron says, "I know we've had our problems lately, but this is the father-daughter dance and I need to take my little girl out. Is that too much to ask?" Aria's like, "It's fine." And Ella overhears from outside the door.
Your Byron voice. I can't breathe.
Thank you very much. I try and be as snivelly as possible.
I'm crying.
Am I okay to move on?
Carry on. I'll just be over here turning red.
Emily's getting ready and sees her phone ring, but she sees it's from Maya, but it's too late and gets a missed call. She calls immediately right back, but gets a full voicemail. Hannah goes to storm off to the dance, but Ashley's like, "Hey, where are you going?" And says, "You have one more chance to tell me about the police report and who did it and who came from and why." And Hannah's like, doesn't say anything. Ashley then says, "Then give me your phone. If you won't tell me, I have to look myself." Hannah says no, but Ashley pushes for it. Hannah then throws her phone into the sink, which is full of water, and leaves. Emily meets her dad at the dance. Emily says, "I missed a call from Maya. Sorry I'm late. I missed a call from Maya and was hoping for her to call back." Emily says, "Sorry for wasting your time. Looking for Maya all day. I know we just had today to spend." And Wayne's like, "It does, don't feel guilty. I still got to spend time with you." They hug, and Wayne says, "Well, I have to be truthful with you. This is going to be our last weekend. We can spend together for a while because I'm going to Afghanistan for 6 months. I leave on the last flight tonight." That's why I said, like, where, like, Fitz is like, well, I'm actually not leaving for a little while. It was very strange for the show because everybody else is like, well, I booked the first flight out. Like, cost be damned. I gotta go now. Mike and his friend DJ the hell out of the dance.
Do they? I don't remember any of the music.
Yeah, but they're DJing the hell out of it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because they were doing it together.
Right. He's like, hey, party people.
Well, they were both touching buttons at the same time, and I was like, that can't be good.
Twisting knobs. Arya and Byron are dancing together awkwardly. Byron then reminisces about past times, and Arya's like, well, that was a really long time ago. Arya looks over and sees Hannah, and Hannah motions at her to come over. The friends plus Mona. Yay. You're like, when I like put that down, you're like, why'd you put plus Mona? I'm like, well, usually I'm referring to the friends as the 4, but now we have Mona.
That's fair.
And they all come over to Hannah, asking what's wrong and why, like, she's not in her dress. Hannah tells them about Ashley finding the police report and her giving it to Wilden. Arya is super worried about both their parents asking about A, and Hannah is worried about Wilden actually finding something. Spencer says, we need to create a solution. And Mona's like, well, I have an idea. And they all kind of like look at her. And then Spencer's like, go ahead. Mona's like, well, it will require a really big lie, which I'm terrible at, which Spencer then gives her a frowny face. And Mona asks, which one of you is the best at hiding the truth from someone who's close to you? The other 3 then all point at Arya, which Arya is pissed at. And then Arya's like, okay, what's the lie? Spencer and Peter take pictures together, and Spencer isn't smiling. Peter asks, what's wrong? You're not smiling. And Spencer looks on sadly. Peter whispers, like, hey, I'm trying really hard here. And Spencer's like, a little too hard. You told a really big lie to us, and I can't do the same. I went into your study today and found a check that says otherwise about you paying Allie. Peter asks, like, wait, you went into my desk? Spencer's like, yes, I found the $15,000 check from when Allie disappeared. He says, I know we have trust issues right now, but you can't just go into my desk.
Sure she can.
Gaslight. Spencer says, I don't want to discuss this here. I want to go home. Arya then approaches Byron. Byron asks if she would like to continue dancing, and Arya says, can we leave now? Hannah needs me. Byron says, can't we get a picture first? And Arya says, yes, you get one every no, we can't do that. You get one every year with your little girl, but I'm not your little girl anymore. She then walks away as Byron looks sad. Spencer walks out.
He fucked around and now he found out.
Totally.
I have no pity for Byron.
I have zero pity for Byron. I don't like in those previous segments where I have to be like, well, Byron's kind of right. See what you made me do, show?
You mean people aren't all good or all bad? Gross.
I know. Makes me sick.
Pick a lane.
You sniveling worm, Byron. Spencer walks out in front of the school and she sees a biker pull up with a helmet. She's like, Toby? And the biker pulls up, stops in the street, and then just turns around and drives away. I love it. I think in Greece too, there's like a guy who like drives around and they don't know it's like a mysterious biker. I shouldn't be quoting things I don't remember. Wayne and Emily dance. Emily asks why Wayne didn't tell her sooner about like how soon he had to leave. Like, why didn't you tell me as soon as you got here? Wayne says, I couldn't do that. I just needed this weekend and a dance with you. Camera pans over to Hannah looking miserable in the crowd. We then cut to Arya at Hannah's house talking to Ashley. She's like, Ashley, I know about the police report because I sent it. Ashley asks, why would you do that? Arya's like, well, like, I known for a while that Hannah's been shoplifting again. She wouldn't listen to us, and I was worried that if she got caught, she'd end up in jail, so I thought I'd scare her straight. Ashley asks how she got it. Arya says, I made it up. I'm A. A for anonymous and A for Arya. Ashley says, thank you for meeting with me. I'll take it from here, and Arya leaves. Spencer is in the study with Peter as Peter is digging through his desk. Peter asks, like, wait, what else did you take? And Spencer says nothing. Peter then calls she says, I took nothing. Peter then calls the police and reports a break-in and says, oh no, only the gun is missing. He walks away to talk, and Spencer looks on his desk and finds a folder filled with pictures of Allison. Byron looks around for Arya at the house, and instead then is like, well, I also have a son, and goes to talk to Mike. Byron's like, oh, have you seen your sister lately? And Mike says no. And Byron's like, well, good night. Mike stops him and is like, hey, I feel like you've been like too hard on Arya. And he's like, I don't know. I know she didn't tell you the truth about her and Mr. Fitz, but like, did you ever like ask her like why she didn't? Byron's like, no, I didn't. And Mike says, well, she didn't tell you because you didn't ask. Spencer rounds the corner with the folder as Peter gets off the phone. He sees the envelope in her hand. He says, I gave those pictures to a private investigator for reference. He says the check stub you found today, written to cash, was for that. I was looking into her disappearance. Spencer asks why, and Peter says, I thought someone I loved might have been involved. Spencer asks if it was Jason, and Peter's like, no, your sister. Melissa was harassing Allison with texts and calls, and I wanted peace of mind that she didn't do anything. The police then come, and Peter walks away. Spencer is watching the cops from the window as Melissa rounds the corner, and Melissa scares her. Melissa asks why the cops are here, and Spencer mentions Peter's gun being missing, and like, did you hear anything last night? Melissa's like, no, I fell asleep watching TV. Spencer's like, I thought the TV like out in the barn was broken. Melissa says, well, on my laptop. She says, I need to get out of Rosewood tonight with everything weird going on. If things start getting weird around here, you can always come stay with me. Melissa then says her goodbye and leaves. Ella and Ashley catch up, and Ashley says, I didn't buy it. Of course not. And Ella wonders why Arya would make this up. Ella says they're all making things up, hiding something. This is a person, God, has them scared. And when I saw the police report, I was too. Ella tells her about the A letter she received. Ashley says, I got the cops involved. Ella says, I'm not sure that's a great idea. A knows things about Arya that could hurt her. Ashley says, it's gone on far too long. We owe it to our daughters to find some answers. We then cut to a POV shot outside of the Marin house, watching the two of them. Hannah is at Arya's, asking her if Ashley bought it, and Arya says, I don't know. Ashley asks, if she feels guilty, and Arya's like, yes, and I'm freaked out. Her phone rings to Jonah calling. Arya then picks up, but we don't hear his side of the call. We then cut to the four friends getting out of a car in Brookhaven. Another town. Arya tells the friends that Jonah let her know that Allison was receiving text from A from more than one number. Arya says Jonah didn't find the specific address, but it was within this given block. Arya then notices something and brings the friends over. It's a storefront called Vale's Doll Hospital, and there's lots of creepy doll pieces in the window.
They're just parts.
Yeah, like the old school dolls from the ones that A sent them, and it's just heads and torsos and legs. Yeah.
I hate old dolls.
And Arya then goes back to Spencer's car to grab a jacket while the friends look in the window. Arya decides that today I'm going to wear Vivian's jacket.
I think she said she was cold, and Spencer said, I have the red coat in the trunk or something like that.
Got it. Okay, I missed that part then.
Or you know what I mean. There's the coat in the trunk.
Got it. And Arya puts it on, and a man from behind her says, Vivian? Arya then turns around and sees him. Our POV shot for the episode, the gloved hand puts 50 cents in the newspaper, one of the newspaper things.
Door things.
Yeah, I can't think of what you call it. And grabs a newspaper out that has Maya's face on the front page with the headline, Missing Girl. The end.
Ready?
I am.
What the wrong?
What the what?
Montgomery's. What are they doing? What's this whole keep a secret? I'm not going to talk to your dad about this, but I'm willing to understand your secret boyfriend that's an adult.
It's a lot. Maybe they really should have evaluated their marriage a little better. Maybe they are better separated. Maybe Ella deserves the house. But your father doesn't understand. What do you think's gonna happen? Do you think he's gonna come around on this? Okay, we've talked. I guess maybe Ella's just trying to I don't know. I don't know what her goal is in trying to understand this and keep a secret from Byron, because Byron's gonna blow up about it. Mm-hmm. And then Byron's just being a weirdo because he feels guilty that his daughter hates him for multiple reasons, but really the main reason being that he is preventing her, being the bad guy, from seeing her teacher romantically. So, you know, it's a right old mess. And then, like I said, it's just like, Arya's not home. Well, let me go talk to my son. Not about anything that's going on with him, but like, is your sister around? Okay, nothing. Good night.
Yes. Mike went to therapy and is now the only member of the family with emotional intelligence.
It really is. Mike is like sitting there just like, oh, get it together, everybody. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I love that
I'm pretty sure it's his last episode until he goes off to do Teen Wolf for a while, and then he comes back.
Okay.
I think he does both at the same time for a while because I think he's in season 4, maybe in season 3. Yeah.
Well, goodbye, Mike. You had
I think it's his last episode.
You had some weird plot lines.
But don't worry, you'll get more later.
Okay, great. I hope you enjoyed Teen Wolf.
Woof.
Yeah.
Woof.
Exactly. And but you were great. You know, you were doing good in these past episodes, like this one, where you know you ask your sister straight up, like, "What's the appeal?"
Yeah.
This seems awful.
This seems like a lot of work for an old man.
Right. I'm coming to this very understanding, but
I am concerned.
I do exactly.
I do have some concerns.
Yeah, he was going to be my English teacher the next year.
Yeah, we were going to have class, and now no. What happens when A finds out that the moms are trying to figure out who A is?
Oh, more stuff, more targeting of them for sure. I definitely think A is gonna like have more things about them. They're gonna come up, maybe not through, not to them directly, but through the kids. So like Ashley starts digging, Hannah gets text about it. Ella starts digging, Arya gets text about it. Or even abstracted like that, like how A's done with Mona, where it's like Spencer's getting texts about it. So then it's one extra layer, like removed away from it. That'll like start putting pressure on them for then the like kids to be like, hey, don't do that. And the parents being like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to help. I need to help you. And potentially one or more of their things is probably going to get out. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ashley Wilden stuff is out before the end of the season.
I love it.
I don't like it, but
I love your theories.
Yes. That was not in response to you. That was just like the ugh.
We can save this for theory corner if you want, but the girls think Melissa is A. Do you?
I think it's a top theory.
Okay.
Coming in at show me Melissa.
Where is she on your board?
Yeah, she's number 2.
Okay.
Ding.
You made the board and you're the only one guessing.
Exactly. Well, no, I was doing the Steve Harvey.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's just that you'd have to be also the people participating because I can't guess for you.
Oh, right, that's true.
You're playing
I'm
the solitaire version of Family Feud.
The family and the host. It's great to be here, Brenton.
Why does Wilden actually want Hannah's phone? Just because he's a nosy motherfucker?
No, I think for the reasons he does want to find out who the hell, because I think he's like, shit. My job is on the line. This is bad. So I think Wilden 100% wants it. Well, and he's also a nosy shit.
And for Allison.
Can it be both?
Yeah.
But I do think a big part of it is just like, I need to figure out who's doing this because like they could cost me my job. So yeah, and also like, yeah, what else are you doing? What else is going on?
Why do we think Maya doesn't want to be found? Or do we think Maya wants to be found?
I don't think Maya wants to be found. I think she's doing nefarious shit. Like I said, I think that dark car is Garrett. Who else drives a dark car? I'm pretty sure the Prius that Emily won, is it a light color?
She got I thought it was a Camry.
Camry.
Or was it a Corolla? I think it's a Camry.
I think you're right. A Camry or Corolla, something. A nice family car. But yeah, I think doesn't want to be found because like she's up to doing some A shit. And I think her reasonings for not wanting to be found is people putting pressure on her for doing her nefarious deeds.
Was that Toby on the motorcycle?
Yeah. sad.
Having his James.
Me too.
He's having his
Toby.
James plotline
Right,
from
really?
Twin Peaks. He's off in a different town.
Oh God, he's caught up in a Black Widow's web.
Huh?
Good God, it's a rough time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also a rough time.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I like Toby. Toby's not had a great plot line going on
No.
this season.
You like Toby in spite of his plot.
I do.
You just love Toby.
Good solid boy.
Mm-hmm. I think he's like a creep in the books, but
Oh really?
I think so. I can't remember.
No, it's so funny because he's like the most
Golden
right
of the boys.
Exactly. He's the most right, and he's also the most like brave out of everybody. Like I love Toby being like, "Yeah, try me.
You want to fight?
Yeah, okay. Oh, like no, I'm not gonna back down, Peter. You can fire me, sure. Love it. He's good at rattling people.
Yeah, we love it. I mean, he was ostracized by the town. Arya's lie to Ashley. Do we think that's gonna work?
No. Well, we already know it doesn't. Yeah, and we already know it doesn't. And it just kind of like fans the flames to make it worse. So like,
but does it feed the fans?
I do feel a little fed after the Ashley Ella scene.
You like a little Ashley Ella combo.
I do. Because Ashley's just like, nope, we got to figure this out. And I like that. And then Ella is
you can't like really create a good ship name for them. Ashley.
Ashla.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not? Why not them get together? Ditch Byron. You can move into the Marin house. Because he's obviously going to try and keep it. But the getting Ella also away from her family stuff is always better too.
Yeah, it's a better plot line.
Yeah, but I just like the parents being like proactive and trying to like figure shit out. I really like that. I think it's a good foil to the protagonists.
Mm-hmm.
And like gives you good reason that they're like trying to be good parents, but are also not good at it.
Mm-hmm. They're failing miserably.
Yeah. They're like, we need to be hands off and give our kids freedom, but also at the same time, like our kids are being targeted by bullies. Ashley's the only one that is just like, this has been happening for a while.
Yeah, this has been a long time.
Now, if the other parts of my life weren't interfering, I maybe would have been able to get to the bottom of this.
Unfortunately, I'm dealing with a lot all the time, including
I'm a
major felon I committed. I assume it's a felon. Was that embezzling or is it just theft? She
quid
used
pro
her
quo
job to take the money.
How soon I forget? That's got to be a felony. You're stealing from the bank also. Like, that's money.
Well, but it was actually out of the woman's safe deposit box. It wasn't from the bank.
Oh, that's true. So it's not.
But she used her bank access. I don't know.
It's not insured.
It's not ethical. That's what it wasn't.
So in Heat, they steal the bank's money because the bank, like they steal from the bank directly because the bank is insured. All your money is safe. There you go.
Good to know. Peter Hastings' missing gun. Who has it?
Yeah.
We watched someone take it. Who was it?
That could be. If it's A, then I think it's Maya. Maya's a crack shot. For like protection of like whatever shit she got embroiled in.
Okay.
That's my best guess. It's like who the Garrett squad doesn't need it.
Yeah, he's got a gun.
Maybe Noel. Because Noel and Jenna are still out there doing
shit,
being horrible. But my gut would be that it's A, in some sort of protection against Garrett and those fellas.
Did Peter Hastings really hire a PI just because of Melissa?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. Whoa, just because of Melissa? No. I do think maybe. Well, okay, because he hired the PI after Allison had disappeared.
Yeah, to make sure that Melissa wasn't involved.
I don't think it's just because of Melissa. I think it was also because of what Allison knew about the family. I think that
to protect that information.
Exactly. And since there was like blackmail happening to him, I think he also wants to get to the bottom of that shit. So he's like I said, he's gonna spend money on like figuring that out, but he's not gonna spend money on like, here you go, blackmailer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's my gut there.
That's your theory there. I like it. Sorry, my phone locked me out. Doesn't know my face.
Rude.
What does Melissa know?
Yeah. I think Melissa knew before about Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I think
She also knew Jason, his son.
Yes. I think Melissa also knew about the NAT club schemes they're running.
Mm-hmm.
She also knew about Allison's nefarious ways.
I think everyone knew that.
Yeah, pretty much. And like how much like Allison was just involved in like making her life hell.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's about like everything I think Melissa knows.
Okay.
I don't think she knows that like Spencer sold off her ring.
And then
Remember that?
Yes, I do. For Toby Struck.
Uh-huh.
Last but not least, we're sad again.
Yeah.
Who was that in Brookhaven? Who recognized
Oh yeah.
Vivian?
Yeah, because it's just a brand new character. I'm assuming this character is going to last for a little bit. It could be a confidant, a love interest that was like that she would use that like was like a safe haven for her to go to and interact with to help with the Vivian Darkbloom of doing things and hiding out and
All right.
Figuring out shit. So I think some sort of male confidant that was romantic, possibly.
All right.
I still don't have a good idea on what the hell Vivian Darkbloom is even for.
Like what she needed that other personality for?
Yeah, I don't have a good idea there.
Well,
Obviously,
she was using it to look into who was going after Allison.
Right. So then I don't know like how deep that is or was in terms of like actually figuring that out of like who A was.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. And then do you want to take us into your theory corner?
I would love to.
Would you?
All right. Let us step into... Theory Corner. Hello, everybody. Take a seat. Welcome to the office.
Those chairs don't look comfortable.
No. I need to get new chairs. But I'm a PI, so like I can't afford it. Spend all the money on this office space.
And that typewriter?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I need a typewriter. I need my tools. Maya, still number one on my list.
Okay.
And I think, like I said, her disappearance going around. I even think that's Maya getting her own paper out of the thing of just like, they think I'm missing. And I do think that that black car was the dark car was Garrett because he just gets fucking around.
Garrett gets around.
I know he has so much time. Always in his fucking Charger too, his muscle car.
This is obviously very inconspicuous and a great way to go around town.
Exactly. So I think it's that, and I think again that I do think that she is working as an opposite to the NAT club dealings. For whatever reason. And so that's like a contentious like pickup when she was picked up by like Garrett.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so there's, they're trying, he's like, I'm keeping an eye on you sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah. And so for Maya, whatever reason, this goes back a ways with Allison of some sort of grievance against her and rest of the friends and things. Melissa, welcome back to the list. You had fallen off for a little bit because you weren't around. Number two, nefarious shit. She obviously knows a ton and is not telling Spencer. And is
fucking around with Garrett.
Exactly. Got picked up by Garrett. Even her dad was suspicious of her. Which, of course, now that we've got this like mountain of evidence like pointing to her, it's just like, is it really her? But I think it's enough to put her back on the list, if not at the number one slot, because it's like, it seems a little early to be completely revealing this to us. Not early, I guess, because we've got 3 more episodes. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, is this too convenient now that like it all kind of matches up there? So I that's my reservation on that. even though it's all kind of like these past episodes of like finger pointing at Melissa now that she's back in town. I think Mona falls down the list. Not completely out of the blue that like, or out of the ballpark that she could have been like pretending about all these things, because we don't see her actually do any of the things she talks about. She could have just brought directly the police report to Hannah. She could have pretended to go to the jewelry store and doing community service and things.
What about the texts we see though?
Right. She could like be able to send that to herself. A has ways. So I do think that's a possibility with Mona. But I'm not quite as on board with that. And then
also, how would Melissa have time to do all this and be pregnant?
She's pretty good.
She's a busy lady.
She is a busy lady.
I'm tired of thinking about it.
Me too. And then Fitz, you're always on the list.
Yeah, what the fuck is he doing?
Exactly.
Going to New Orleans, allegedly.
Allegedly going to New Orleans. But yeah, he's not doing anything. There hasn't been a lot of plot with him, if I'm going to be honest. So I don't know if that one will pan out, but we like it on the list.
Okay.
And then, of course, that Allison is potentially still alive, getting vengeance on people. But yeah, that's didn't change too much other than all the Melissa stuff. That's very, very interesting and intriguing details. I like it that she's back.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Goodbye.
Any final thoughts on this episode?
Wayne, best dad, of course, unequivocally, but we gotta stop it with people being like,
and I'm on the last plane tonight.
I know. It's like, just tell him. And I do like that he's like, hey, like, let's go follow up on the leads about Maya. I will do that with you if that will make you feel better, because I think you would really like to do this. I think that's really nice and very sweet.
He's a good dad.
He is a good dad. Just one. And I do think there's got to be some shit with Wilden and Jenna happening in the background. Again, we saw them together after the party at the Halloween where he's being a creeper. I still think that's going on. But I hope we get this big dump truck of Jenna shit happening over the next couple weeks, which I'm sure will happen. Because Jenna is up to shit.
We haven't seen her.
Nope. Last time we saw her and Noel were like sitting in the dark being like, hey. But I do think there's got to be some shit going on with her and Wilden. But yeah. But that's it.
All right. Shall we wrap it up then?
Let's do it.
All right. You okay? Okay.
I was just like, I'm about to say my plugs, but I was just as if but I was gonna say it as if it was like a thing that needed to be said before the plugs, and then it's like, no, that's plugs. So just continue on. Yes.
Okay. When I'm not here doing this, I do other shit. You can find that all in the link tree that Brenton will put in all the descriptions on all the things. I go on TikTok. I used to post YouTube videos, but now I'm tired. So tired.
You can find this podcast on all your podcast platforms of choice at Dead Ends. You can also find this on YouTube at Dead Ends Podcast. It's just Dead Ends. Dead Ends Podcast is the Twitter handle where you can follow us there for new episodes. Also busy, so I'm not really doing too much like posting, but I am like at least updating once a week when it comes out.
And if you tweet at us, we'll tweet back.
Totally. And if there's ever like episodes where we'll need to like say skip a week or something, that'll pop up there. You can also send in emails to, we would love them ahead of the finale episode, deadendspcast@gmail.com. You got a couple more weeks for that, because episode will be going up on the 23rd. So you'll probably have about that week before we'll want them in. So yeah, let us know. And if you include spoilers, please don't include it in the subject line or like right up top, so it doesn't come in as like preview text for me.
So that he can scream, Emily, come read it. Because
exactly.
he's not allowed to know.
Yeah, you can just put spoilers. That like just say spoilers, not put the actual spoilers in there. So that's deadendspcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Subject line podcast. I don't know. You don't need to put a subject line. And you can also find my other stuff in the link tree on the episode description.
All right.
So with that, we are so close, but we are still here, and we will find out everything.
So, and don't get too excited. I'm pretty sure the only thing you learn in the finale is who A is.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.